Hi, everybody. This is SAAD. Here we are, episode 1000. In August 2014, I posted my first clip, and since I can't believe that I have amassed this amount of content. It has truly been an incredible journey. That there is this possibility whereby one can turn on their laptop and then reach so many people is truly extraordinary. And I've been truly thankful that I've been able to build this platform. And of course, I'm thankful for all of your support. I thought that I would spend a few minutes just discussing some of the metrics that are not available to the average viewer. In other words, I could only access those metrics in my inbox. So I'm closing in on 170,000 subscribers, almost 18.5 million views, 3 million plus hours of viewing. And so when I broke that up into years, it's a total of 344 years. So if you were to add up all of the time that people have spent watching my clips since I posted my first one, 5.5 years ago, it amounts to 344 years of viewing. Incredible. Now, here's a stat that I would love to be able to change. Of the total number of views on my channel, the 18.5 million, 58.8% are from non-subscribed people, and only 41.2 are from subscribed. So please, if you could take a minute or two, go and subscribe to the channel, and then also click the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever I upload something. It's really important to have good subscriber counts for all sorts of reasons. So please don't just watch the channel without subscribing. At the very least, if you can't support me in any other way, subscribe to the channel if you appreciate my content. In terms of, I'm not going to list all of the demographics, although the demographic analyses are quite interesting in terms of the demographic analyses of the people who visit my channel. 88.4% are male and 11.6% are female, so almost 8-to-1 ratio. What's going on, ladies? You can listen to this deep voice and this face spewing wisdom, and yet you choose not to be here? Makes no sense. Stop with the irrational behavior. In terms of countries, I think the show's been watched, in pretty much every corner of the world. I think something like 200 different countries and territories. The five most: USA, 36.2% of all views, followed by Canada, 14.7%. So just US and Canada amounts to about 50% of all views. Then the UK, 12.7%, Australia, 5.1%, and then Germany, 3.2%. I have 26 clips out of the now 1,000, the 999 so far, that have 100,000 or more views. Now, what's interesting is that many of the clips that are the most viewed ones are ones where I've actually held chats, long format chats with people. So this goes straight against the old idea, or the prevailing idea, that people don't have a long attentional span and they just want these quick 1-minute viral videos. To the contrary, I think what certainly my experience has shown, and the experience of, say, someone with arguably the most popular show in the world, Joe Rogan, is that long format is desired. People want to sit and listen to intimate conversations. And so I will certainly be bringing you more of these. By the way, roughly about 150 of my SAAD Truth clips have been chats with people, and I very quickly went through my list of guests. Unbelievable. I mean, from Anthony Scaramucci, who was the White House communication director, to famous actors and comedians, and of course famous scientists and philosophers and lawyers. And I've had an former NBA star on. I'll probably be having, I will be having Ricky Gervais at some point. Tomorrow I'm holding a chat with Lawrence Fox, who got into hot trouble with all sorts of woke people. He's a British actor. So the number of people that I've had the pleasure of meeting through developing this platform has been incredible. You can go to one of my playlists where I only list all of the chats I've had. And again, I've had, activists on, lawyers, physicians, as I said, evolutionary psychologists, consumer psychologists, physicists. I mean, all sorts of incredible people. The like to dislike ratios of the totality of my clips, 97.7%, and that includes the 2 clips where the tofu Taliban or the vegan rage brigade had come after me really big time. Like, they had sent hundreds of people to dislike my clips. So you're talking about a near perfect record when I'm dealing with some of the most contentious issues. So I must be doing something right. What else have I got for you? I tried to find the number of comments that have been posted in totality, and I couldn't find it because YouTube recently changed their analytics, interface, and so I wasn't sure how to get to it. But it is certainly in the range of over 200, 300, 400 comments per clip, and so the engagement of people has been quite amazing. So it's been an incredible experience. A lot of people, by the way, have asked me through the years, why don't I put my stuff on podcast? And believe me, I've heard you all. The reason why I haven't done it is, literally just because I haven't had time. Please remember that I do this as a separate thing, right? This is not part of my professorial duties. This is not something that's part of my responsibilities as a professor. I do this as a separate thing because I care about doing this. I care about the purity of the process. I care about lending whatever small or large voice that I have to the battle of ideas. And as you know, I've used all sorts of strategies to achieve that goal. I use humor. I use sarcasm. Right? The Aslan Uyghur Decoder 5000 became famous on this channel. My self-flagellation videos became famous on this channel. My hiding under the table series became famous on this channel. But of course, on other occasions, I'm very sober and serious, and I post, serious scientific lectures that I've delivered, or really academic conversations that I've had with leading academics. So I really am all over the place in terms of what I try to do on this channel. But so to go back to the podcast, I haven't had a chance to do so because the idea is to ultimately try to monetize my content in a way that is a lot more beneficial to me, frankly, because of the amount of time that I spend doing this. And I haven't yet gotten around to finding what is the best portal to use in order to be able to monetize my content. By the way, the number of downloads that you could get on a podcast is probably 10 times or more higher than on YouTube. So I fully heard you, and I understand the value of putting everything on podcasts. And if I can free up some time, this is a one-man show here that I'm running. So if I had a team, if I had a few assistants that can help me, then of course everything would be in podcast form yesterday. Which leads me to the next point. You really can't imagine how much time it takes to have built the type of content that I have done. I've tried to monetize my time. Now, once in a while, I get someone who writes in anger, well, you're a professor. Why do you need more money? Frankly, it's insulting for someone to say that. If you go see a lawyer and you want them to take on their case, do you say to them, but bruh, you're already making money. Why do you need to charge me? Or if a surgeon writes a book, does his publisher say, but you're a surgeon. Why do you expect to be paid for this book? I spend an inordinate amount of time doing what I do because I believe in the fundamental need to be engaged in the battle of ideas. And of course, being who I am, having the platform that I've built, I feel that it is my duty to do so. But I could shut everything down tomorrow and go on just with my, official duties as a professor. And that would be fine as well. The reason why I don't do it is because I think that I can't be saying from this side of my mouth, please get engaged, and then for me to stop getting engaged. But time is money, and I end up spending my time pretty much for free doing these things. A few years ago, of course, I set up a Patreon account, and I've lost almost all the money. At one probably more than 2/3 of the money is gone because everybody decided to boycott Patreon. So I probably make under $1,000 a month on Patreon. Now compare this to my very good friend Jordan Peterson, who was cleaning about $1 million a year, right? So surely one who is spending as much time as I am for many years is entitled to say, hey, my time needs to be monetized. In addition to the Patreon hits that I've taken, most of my clips, as you know, eventually end up getting demonetized, and then I have to appeal. Some of them are remonetized, others are not. And of course, the money is very, very minimal in terms of ad revenues on YouTube. You have to be PewDiePie with 55 million subscribers before you start making real money. A few people, of course, some people do. Thank you to all those who do or have supported me. But the reality is that I wish more people would do so, because then it could really allow me to free up more of my time to do more things. So one of the things that I wanted to do is create a portal, sort of a great minds portal, which, by the way, I had spoken to someone at Google about it, and they loved the idea, whereby I could really officially create a portal where I would monetize all of this stuff in a more beneficial manner. Right now, all I've done throughout this whole 5.5 years, I simply, relied on people's, kindness, if you like, a reciprocal plea. You watch all my content, please consider contributing. So again, I hope you don't think it is too gauche for me to say, look, I don't want to put up right now any tiered reward systems on Patreon. I'll give you, if you give me $5, I'll send you a selfie of me with a photo. And if you give me $10, all I'm saying is, look, if you consume my stuff, and I get thousands and thousands of people who say, hey, I no longer watch TV. I just watch your channel. I spend hours and hours all the time waiting for your stuff. Well, if you love my stuff, it's not hard. Go to the primary page on my YouTube channel. To the right hand corner, I've got a Subscribe account, I've got a PayPal account, I've got a Patreon account. And so, for a couple of dollars a month, which is nothing, you could be supporting me and allowing me to gain greater freedom. By the way, without wanting to get into too many details, because you might understand why, I have suffered other consequences for being the outspoken person that I am. Very severe financial consequences related to my profession. I'll leave it at that. But believe me when I say that the fact that you're tenured doesn't mean that you are fully protected. I had a chaired professorship, which when I tried to apply for the next chair, it's now been 2 years in a row that I've been denied when I should have been a shoo-in. That chair comes with a stipend, a research stipend, an income stipend. I've lost all that. I don't sit and whine about this because obviously it's a delicate issue. But believe me when I say there are many, many ways by which I've had to incur costs, professional and personal. For a while, I had to, worry about my safety when I walked into the university because of the death threats I was getting. I had to file a police report with the Montreal police. Tenure doesn't protect you from almost having anxiety attacks because you don't know where someone who sent you death threats is going to be coming at you. That comes from the fact that I am publicly engaged. So I'm not trying to guilt you into supporting me, but the reality is the few of us who do this do it at great personal and professional cost. We do it because we believe in the battle of ideas. And it certainly wouldn't be much for people to then say, you know what, I'd like to support such a person. So please consider supporting me in any way that you can. Of course, there are other ways that you could support me. Post comments, spread the news, tell other people, share the videos. So there are many, many, many ways by which you could support the channel. Eventually, I probably, once I go into podcast mode or whatever, I'll probably have some sort of subscription-based model. Because as I said, probably all the other people that you follow have taken clear positions to ensure that their times are monetized. And yet I've never done so because I didn't want to put it behind a paywall. I didn't want to make it that I only do this if you pay me in return, because as I said, I do it out of the purity of my spirit. But again, given the amount of time that I spend doing this and given the amount of flack I have gotten, and again, I haven't shared with you the details, for doing what I do. You might imagine what someone who is as outspoken as me might experience in an academic ecosystem, but I do it unencumbered by these concerns. So there you have it, folks. Looking forward to hopefully an infinite number of more sad truths, but let's end it on a again, positive note. I truly think that we are going to win the battle of ideas. I think it's a long process. It's trench warfare. But I do know that the silent majority is fed up with all of the nonsense, the anti-science, the anti-reason, the anti-logic, wokeness that has permeated through every possible Western institution that you can think of, and certainly the academic institutions. But it's going to require for everyone to be involved. And so anything that you can do to participate in the battle of ideas, as I've repeatedly said, you don't need to have a huge platform. You don't need to be a fancy professor to affect change. Have a conversation at the dinner table with your family. Chat up your friends and family members on Facebook. You could do it politely, you could do it properly, but engage people and don't feel threatened by the looming consequences of you stepping out of line. The worst thing is engaging in self-censorship because you worry about consequences. There are people in the Middle East who speak out knowing that they might be executed for speaking out. So any consequences that you think that might befall you are lesser than what other people are willing to do to exercise the freedoms that so many people here take for granted. So there you have it, folks. It has been an incredible experience. I truly am humbled that just by opening a laptop, I can build such a platform of nearly 20 million views and close to 170,000 subscribers. Onward and upwards. Thank you so much for your support. It has been an amazing journey, and I look forward to continuing with you on this journey. Thanks again. And by the way, I'll be posting shortly my chat that I had yesterday with the psychologist Lee Jussum. Talk to you soon, guys. Thank you so much. Cheers.